Hello, race friends, and welcome to the Off Camera TV's coverage of the ISDC Rig Share World Series, live from the 1.5-mile long Homestead Miami Speedway for the Grand Prix of Miami. With me in the booth tonight is Donovan Johns. How's it going there, Dono?
I am happy to be here. Looking at these cars out here at Homestead, should be some really good running, and excited to see this championship wind down and crown our champion.
Fantastic. Yeah, I'm ready to get this started. This is going to be a great race here tonight. We unfortunately, because of technical difficulties, weren't able to broadcast last week over at Laguna Seca. But something big did happen, and that was we have a new points leader. Yet last week, Stephen Larkamp passed Tim Silliman in the points, and that's going to be even more important here because right now they are 1-2 in practice, and they are going head to head on track. And with the point system here, you can gain quite a bit of points on another driver. So we got to keep an eye on that. Coming into Laguna Seca, Tim Silliman led the points 21 over Stephen Larkamp. Flipped it over. Stephen Larkamp now leads Tim Silliman by 16 points and Johnny Eckert by 43 points. Although Johnny Eckert could technically gain on second place, he cannot gain on first. And so he will not be able to run for the championship here tonight. He would need 17 cars running, but unfortunately, we only have 13 cars in this session right now. So that means that Johnny Eckert will officially be eliminated from this points race here tonight. What do we have regarding weather over there, Dono?
Well, down here in beautiful Miami, Florida, we have a fantastic 70 degrees in the air. Track temperature is in the 90s here, looks like. And looking for about 100. I lost my train of thought here. Relative humidity is about 61%, which means we're going to have a nice, good, comfortable tire wear. We're going to be nice and grippy and fast today.
Fantastic. Well, I do want to mention before we get into qualifying here, I do want to mention that Tim Silliman has officially won the Triple Crown Championship, and that involves finishes from Indianapolis, Michigan, and Pocono. So even though Tim is not a lock-in for the Rig Share World Series Championship, he has won the Triple Crown. So congratulations to him here tonight. And right now, looking down the charts, he currently is our pole sitter with a time of 24.843. Back behind him is the 81 of Derek Pemberton. Derek started this series last week at Laguna Seca, so this will be officially his first time here on OCTV.
I'd like to welcome him and his fans. Hopefully, some people sitting at their computers watching this right now, smartphones, any of those, check us out and root for your driver. Talk to us in the comments. We will let you know what's going on our end.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'll tell you what's going on right now. Look at Danny Roberts jumping up into the first spot. He has taken over that pole from Tim Silliman here. Danny actually practiced with a terrible time of 27 seconds. He's taken that down in qualifying and is currently our pole sitter. I don't see Stephen Larkamp. He has not attempted his lap yet. We're going to have to keep an eye on him. Remember, him and Tim are going to be the ones racing for the championship here tonight, so we're going to have to highlight them throughout the evening. But it looks like to me he's just now going off a pit lane to start his laps.
You're going to jump on board here with Larkamp, watch him come around these laps.
Worth mentioning while he's doing that the fuel mileage for this race is about 33 to 35 laps, depending on how far you can stretch it here. A reminder of something just like that was Chicagoland. Chicagoland was an interesting race. Phil Clark was able to make it a two-stop race. He was able to stretch that fuel mileage beyond belief. No one thought they could do it in two stops, and lo and behold, Phil ran out of fuel on the last lap out of turn 4, but he had enough of a lead over Will Roberts to win that race right at the end. So 100 laps here tonight. It's going to be at least two-stop race. It looks like Stephen Larkamp had some issues on that lap. He's going to have to start over again here. This session is only 5 minutes for qualifying or 2 laps. He has not gotten his time in, and there's currently 3.5 minutes have gone from this 5-minute session.
The good news is with these lap times, you got plenty of time to lay down 2 good quality laps as we're watching Kite and Bommersbach also go out onto the track here and lay down some times. So you got plenty of opportunity in those 3 minutes to do it, but you are getting to that pressure point where you got your mind right, hit your marks, and lay down a blistering fast time.
Absolutely. Keep an eye on him. There's still a handful of drivers that have yet to attempt a lap. We're looking at Will Roberts hasn't gone out yet. John Hales hasn't gone out yet. Bommersbach is currently going around the track. Should be putting a time down. Just took the green flag here. Also, Ayrton Shelley has not taken a time yet either. So keep an eye on that. Oh, look at Johnny Eckert. Johnny Eckert just jumped up and stole that pole from Danny Roberts. New pole sitter with a time of 24.816 as we're going to ride along with, see who we can jump on board here. Looks like Kite Bommersbach just putting down his time. We jump up into the 8th position. And Stephen Larkamp looks like his best time was a 7th place qualifying effort. Interesting. That's going to be a big gap between him and Silliman. Silliman now leading him by a couple of spots right now.
One of the things I love about these cars here, even if you do lay down a somewhat not fully appealing qualifying lap, with the way these cars pull in a draft, you can be in the back and drive your way to the front with good corner work, be able to pass around some cars on the inside and outside here, and be able to get toward that front. So hopefully Bommersbach, Phil Clark, Johnny Martin will be able to see them move up toward the front.
Yes, absolutely. While we're waiting for the cars to grid up, I do want to mention that the title sponsor for this series is Rickshare LLC, which is a company based out of Lehigh Valley specializing in mining cryptocurrency. So a big shout out to Rickshare. Thank you so much for sponsoring this series. Glad to have you guys on board. Glad to have you associated with OCTV here. This will be our last race with them for this series. So a big thank you to them. And we'll see if we can get to the action here as everyone's finally getting gridded up. And it does look like 3 drivers did not attempt a qualifying effort. We'll see how they can respond to that, including Will Roberts. He practiced 4th. And it's going to start all the way in 13th.
It's always fun to watch Will Roberts come from the back and do some running. Yeah, his last few races, we've watched him put on a really good show, moving up toward the front. So we'll definitely keep our eyes on him.
All right, let's get right to grid. Starting on the pole is the 90 of Johnny Eckert, again with a time of 24.816. Beside him is going to be the 41 of Danny Roberts in second. In third, the 39 of Tim Silliman. In fourth, the 81 of Derek Pemberton. In fifth is the 4 of Jeff Newport. In sixth is the 65 of Eric Davis. In seventh is the 62 of Stephen Larkamp. In eighth is the 3 of Kite Bommersbach. The 25 of Phil Clark. In ninth and 10th is the 12 of Johnny Martin. In 11th, with no qualifying time, is going to be the 18 of Ayrton Shelley. Back behind him, also not qualifying, the 14 of John Ailes in 12th. And of course, Will Roberts bringing up the back end of the field here in 13th. Watching as these guys get lined up, pulling off of pit lane here. And they do have to be careful. I have to say, I saw a couple of guys spin themselves off on pit road here, trying to get up to speed. So we're going to have to keep an eye on this, especially if it comes down to a green flag pit stop. That's going to be extremely dangerous for these guys leaving this pit road.
Another thing to watch is on the restarts, especially if they have not pitted, if they're starting off in first gear. It is incredibly easy to spin those rear tires if you're starting off in first gear. So we'll definitely keep eyes on those rear tires, seeing if anybody's going to lose it. We've seen, especially at this track in other races, especially on the outside, if you're gassing on coming out of 4 to the green flag, you can hook it hard in these cars.
You are correct. And a reminder to anyone that's just tuning in here tonight, this series is special in terms of the way it starts these races. The pace car will be coming down pit lane here, and then they'll take 1 lap by themselves, and we'll should start next lap. See, they all get gridded up. Oh, nope, they're gonna go green here for this restart. Oh, that was close. We almost had a few guys get in the back of each other. Johnny Eckert gonna take the lead here going into turn 1.
Yeah, and Stephen Larkamp all the way back to last place already. He did not get a quality start that he was looking for.
No, I think the back end of the guys weren't expecting that start there because a couple of them did not get the jump they wanted to, and they are cluttered back there as the top 2 spots are currently taken by the 90 of Johnny Eckert and the 41 of Danny Roberts.
And Danny Roberts wisely kind of getting into the draft just behind him. Looks like Tim Silliman and Pemberton, are lining up nose to tail, trying to get a draft and keep up.
Yeah, a reminder that Pemberton is new to this series. This is only his 2nd race attempted here. Looks like Danny Roberts going to go for the first spot here. Johnny Eckert losing that first position. He has led 1 lap. He will get that 1 point. But again, not going to be able to take the points championship here tonight. Not enough starters for this race.
A nice little 3-car battle we have here for the lead with Pemberton, Silliman, and Eckert as they're now back in line, and they're splitting up. Going to go 3-car wide again. Going to look for a battle for the front.
Yeah, absolutely. Johnny Eckert not giving up on this. Tim Silliman also sizing them up, trying to pick the lane that's going to win him a spot here. He's going to side better of it as they still go side by side for just a moment, though Johnny going to drive through the corner and gain that position. Want to highlight back here in the pack, Stephen Larkamp just making his pass up here on Phil Clark and Johnny Martin contending for this spot. Jeff Newport also back there. Stephen Larkamp, he's got a lot of time to pick up some spots, and he's going to need to if he wants a shot at this championship.
Yeah, Larkamp just got caught in the wrong gear because he fell from the front all the way to the back, but he is now past that back of the cars and is their leader, and he's trying to reel in Kyten Bomberbach.
Absolutely, that is for 6th and 7th out back, but up front we've got a battle for the lead again. Johnny Eckert going to go side by side with Tim Silliman. We expect this all throughout tonight as long as they are able to stay in this draft. Oh,
whoa, that
was ran into the back of him there. Got to be careful. Tim Silliman doesn't need to get any damage. He's got to stay in this battle. Got to stay up here up front because he needs to finish quite a few spots ahead of Stephen Larkamp if he wants to steal this championship away.
And I'm watching Danny Roberts as he's bobbing and weaving. He just went from the high line to the low line. He slid in between Silliman and Davis here, and now they are still slicing and dicing up in the front. Silliman back to the lead.
Yeah, Silliman not going to give up on this. Johnny Eckert trying to keep up that run. Can't quite do it. The 41 of Danny Roberts going to be able to get on the inside of him as they go into turn 3.
Yep, Roberts is working on the low side here. And he's got the sniff up. He is coming to the bumper of Roberts again. Watch out. Silliman just able to hold off of that front end as these guys are all fighting right behind him.
Yeah, this is just one of those times where these race cars are so fast. One little touch and you could be spun and your race could be completely over. A reminder, they do not get any fast repairs here. So when you're totaled, you are totaled, and there is no way to repair that. So you do not want to get any problem here.
You're looking at the front of Eric Davis's car in the 65. He is watching this battle as he slides to the high side, trying to find a way around Johnny Eckert and watching Danny Roberts battle with Silliman from the front there. He is trying to find a way to get around. Every time he looks, he's getting blocked one way or another. Not having a good time, but he is still getting an opportunity to watch how these guys are battling, learn some of their maneuvers, and be able to capitalize on that here when he has a chance.
Got to be careful. Got to be careful here. It looks like Tim Silliman was trying to pull away there. Not quite going to do that. Draft for these Indy cars. He's going to pull the 41 right back to him once again. We got about 6 cars now as Kyten Bombersbach is catching the draft of the 81 of Derek Pemberton. So that's about the top 6 right now, all together within a second of each other. And then you've got Stephen Larkamp floating by himself about a second back.
With these cars, and they're cruising here right around 204 on the low end, 215 on the high end, you can be about 0.7, 0.8 seconds back behind the car in front of you and still be able to capitalize on that draft. It will pull you up, and it's almost like a slingshot. You approach so rapidly, you've got to lift or have a good position laid up, because if you get too close to the back of that car, you're going to have to make an abrupt maneuver. You're going to scrub off some speed, and you're probably going to lose control of your ride. As we look into the back here, just behind Silliman, Roberts and Eckert almost collided side by side and had to make a maneuver, just like I was trying to talk about.
Yeah, those commentators cursed there for a little bit as it looks like Johnny Eckert's trying to find himself a nice cozy position here, but with these Indy cars, you're picking up so much speed through these corners, and with the straightaway draft helping you out a little bit, it's going to try and challenge the 41 for that second position. Side by side they go, not quite able to do it with the 41 drifting up, though might have a second chance here on the straightaway.
Yeah, these cars are so touchy, and a lot of times the best thing to do is just to lift just a little bit, let yourself get settled in, pull up behind the car in front of you, and just use that draft to rip up in front of you. However, it looks like Eric Davis has gotten around Eckert, been able to close that deal. Eckert got out of the draft a little bit more than he was anticipating. Now let Pemberton get on his rear wing and try to make a move.
Yeah, Eric Davis looking to get a good finish here. He's currently top 10 in points in 10th. The guy in front of him in 9th is not participating in this race, so he's hoping to gain a few point spots here.
Ooh, man, Davis is just right on that paint of the back of Danny Roberts in the 41 car. They almost had a little, blue and red making a little purple, right?
Yeah, something like that. Looks like to me that, fighting for a position for second here. They're not giving up. Eric Davis not going to go away anytime soon. Danny Roberts, though, probably wishes he would, because he just keeps sliding up there.
Man, they are
welcomes Davis back in.
We need to have a bumper cam just on the nose of these cars as they're approaching like that. That is impressively close. He's got to be, he's got to be sponsored by the Dollar Shave Club there, because they are just
cutting it close.
All the way up, and it looks like Eric Davis is going to be able to close that deal. He has gotten around. He has taken second place. Eyes set now on Tim Silliman, who has been able to pull a front about half a second in front of him. So he's got to get that draft to work and try to put some space between he and Eckert, and while trying to close that draft. Oh, who was that? That was Eric. Eckert almost all over to the wall.
Yeah, this is good to see Eric Davis get up in the second position. For those not familiar with this series, Eric Davis is more of a road course racer. In fact, won his one and only race this season at Road America earlier this year and finished second behind Steven Larkamp last week at Laguna Seca. So Eric Davis, great on road courses, but putting on a little show here tonight at this 1.5 mile long Homestead Miami Speedway.
Davis just figured out that a circle track is really just road course with 4 left-hand corners.
Well, if it's just that simple, why didn't you say so?
Right? Easy peasy.
All right, I was gonna highlight 4th and 5th here. Looks like we got a side-by-side battle. Derek Pimpleton trying to earn that spot, not quite able to make it up there. It looks like Kaiden Bommersbach now caught up to these guys, gonna try and take that position up on the outside.
Yeah, when Eckert washed out a little bit too high, that allowed Pemberton to close the deal and get up alongside of him. Of course, those 2 cars running side by side, ran a little slower, made a bigger air pocket. Kaiden Bommersbach all over taking advantage of that. He's trying to pass his way up into the top 5. Into 4th.
Yeah, it looks like this is going to work out really, really well for Steven Larkamp right now. Steven Larkamp currently in the 7th position, 2.6 seconds behind our leader, but he's currently catching Derek Pemberton and, of course, Kaiden Bommersbach riding up high there. These guys competing for 5th position. All these cars fighting is exactly what Steven needs. He needs to pull them back to him, get those positions, try to gain a little bit of ground on Tim Silliman.
Now, these cars, once they do enter the corner, if you're in the draft in the corner, the fronting gets really wobbly. Woo, watch out. Man, Larkamp back there got up close. Now he is all the way on the white line in the apron. Oh. Watch out!
Oh, that is not what you want. He keeps grabbing it. Oh my God, that save. Steven Larkamp, you are testing the boundary right now. He just keeps grabbing that apron. That is not what you want to do here.
No, these cars are phenomenal when they are on the bank. But man, once you get that offset surface, your tires are not going to be happy. Your car is going to be upset. He barely held on to that. That was impressive driving on Larkamp's ability there.
Yeah, and it's worth stating that Tim Silliman, though coming in behind by 16 points with the way this point system works, he is going to easily clinch the championship here tonight if Steven stays in 7th where he is right now. Steven's got to get back up there. He's got to challenge Tim here. Looks like we're going to highlight back in 8th position right now, Will Roberts. He started at the tail end of the field and has gained himself a few spots here, currently battling the 25 of Phil Clark. a reminder, Phil Clark won earlier this year at Chicagoland. We mentioned it earlier on in the broadcast. Big shout out to him. Probably the most exciting race so far that we've seen here on OCTV with this Rick Share World Series. It just seemed like he was coming from an impossible win, and it just somehow stole that away from Will Roberts. So it's ironic that these two guys are kind of stuck around each other for this race. Also want to highlight back there in the 10th position, Johnny Ailes fighting Johnny Martin. John and John, 10th and 11th here. They are on the tail end of the lead lap. We currently have one car, one lap down. And that, of course, is the 4 of Jeff Newport.
One's got to think, watching Ailes and Martin here, they've got to be just strategically riding back here, because they have been nose to tail for quite a while, just doing their thing. They've fallen back off, but they're not falling too far back. They're about 9.5-ish seconds from Tim Silliman, so more than comfortable. They have each other's drafting partners. This could be a strategic move. We all know that Ailes is a quality driver. Johnny Martin's put on some excellent shows in the past, so this could just be them biding their time.
Oh, sorry. Tim Silliman has officially lost the lead, guys. Sorry, we didn't highlight that, but Eric Davis is currently in first. Tim getting challenged for second now by Danny Roberts. When I checked, Danny Roberts was almost into the back of Tim Silliman for second, but luckily Tim able to hold on. These three guys have pulled away from the back end of the field here, or from the middle of the field. Johnny Eckert in fourth is currently 2.5 seconds back. Worth mentioning, we're coming up on green flag pit stops here. If the caution doesn't come out, we currently lap 28, and they can go about 33 to 35 laps on fuel. So keep an eye on that. I'm wondering if back there Jeff Newport thinks he can't do it on 2 stops, maybe pitting early because he's going to try and make it a 3-stop race. And it looks like we've got Silliman bringing it into the pits here. Which, if my math is correct, that will easily put him on a 3-stop schedule. Oh, we got Derek Pemberton, Stephen Larkamp, Will Roberts,
just about everybody's
Johnny
coming right
Ailes,
behind him.
all of them into pit lane here.
Of course, that leaves out Eric Davis. He is still out there cranking laps, and he is not coming in.
Yeah, Eric's still making laps. Danny Roberts now bringing it down. Johnny Eckert, spun at the line. I don't know if he was able to get down to speed. We'll have to check with that. Titan Bommersbach bringing it in. Phil Clark bringing it in. Everyone has pitted except for Eric Davis. Oh, Derek Pemberton. Derek Pemberton spins it at the end of the exit of pit lane. No caution. No caution when you spin it on pit lane. Not going to happen. He's got to get back up to speed, and he has lost himself so many positions here. Again, Eric Davis bringing it into the pits. This time, everyone has officially made a pit stop. We're going to see his guys cycle around here. Tim Silliman should take the lead, as the 2 guys in front of him are currently on pit lane. Tim sitting in 3rd position right now. We'll have to see how everything measures out here. 32 laps completed this time by.
And we're jumping on board with Silliman right now, watching him pilot himself around this track. He is trying to catch up
that
Davis
was the
on the
battle for the
outside.
lead.
Yep.
Yeah, Eric Davis bringing it out just in time. Wasn't able to keep it in front of Tim Silliman. You got to wonder if that was the difference in those tires, the difference of 2 laps between both of those gentlemen hitting. Eric Davis looking to make it back up to Tim now. Challenge for that top spot. With everything shuffling out here, we've got Danny Roberts up in 2nd, and 3rd, literally right on his bumper, is the 90 of Johnny Eckert with the Titan Bommersbach. And 2 seconds back of this battle, in 6th position, is Stephen Larkamp.
It's one thing when you have a field of this size, once you guys have any flaws on pit lane, you're going to get hung out to dry so quick, and you're just begging for some drafting help.
Yeah, what's interesting here is Eric Davis. Eric Davis stayed out the longest. He pitted on lap 31. But on lap 31, you could say 32 was his out lap. We'll see if he can make it. He would have to stretch this run quite a little bit longer than the first one to come even close. So you got to wonder if anyone's going to try for a two-stop race.
That's going to be really tough. Like we saw with Phil Clark several weeks ago, he was able to use a lot of drafting help. He was also able to use a lot of throttle control to get him there. But with everyone pitting so early, it's going to be incredibly difficult to add, about 4 or 5 laps? That's just going to be tough.
Absolutely. We'll keep an eye on that, though, as we continue to go green. 36 laps right now. Coming around this time, that'll be 36 down. It looks like Eric Davis is trying his best to pull in Tim Silliman. That draft down the front stretch, or down the back stretch, I should say, is helping him. He is gaining.
Yep, he was just at 222 miles an hour to Tim Silliman's 217. 5-mile-an-hour difference on one back stretch. He was able to close up a whole tenth of a second.
Yeah, looking good. Speaking of challenging back here, 3-card battle for third right now. Danny Roberts currently leading that pack. Johnny Eckert back in the middle. He was trying to gain on Danny, but he just can't quite make up that position.
Yep. And a little further back behind that, Will Roberts and Jeff Newport are nose to tail. They are using each other to draft and catch up to the field. Meanwhile, way in the back, Phil Clark is back there with Johnny Ailes trying to get some drafting together. And all the way back in the dead of the back of the track here, Johnny Martin is drafting along with Derek Pemberton. Pemberton, after that spin out, not having a good day.
Absolutely, and we're going to jump up to the battle for the lead here, side by side, coming out of turn 4. Tim Silliman, Eric Davis. Tim leading that lap. A reminder, Tim is running for the championship here. Eric Davis is not. Eric going to cost him any type of time here. Tim Silliman currently has led the most laps here tonight. We're going to have to see if he continues to do it. Looks like Eric Davis going to take that spot now, but scooting up on the track, trying to pull over the crossover move here is Tim Silliman.
Yeah, Tim Silliman, he knows that it's a 5-point difference between first and second finishing order. He is frightening tooth and nail to get those extra 5 points, and he is able to get in front of Davis. So for right now, going to the backstretch, he's leading, but Davis, throws a big block. Davis looking for the inside. Oh, Maynard! You do not want to be doing that. This race.
It is worth mentioning. You cannot reactively block in this series. It is against the rules. Silliman has been penalized for throwing a block before, so got to be careful. You don't want to win this championship tonight and then get it taken away after they review this race here. So got to be careful. Going to go side by side. Eric Davis flipping the apron there. Got to be careful. Almost spun himself out, but able to catch it. Nicely done.
He was looking for the extreme of the line, and now he's going back down to look for it again.
Yeah, absolutely. These guys are about 2 seconds ahead of third right now. Worth battling it out, trying to get that position. What you don't want to do is battle so long to those guys while those guys are catching you. Just try and keep these positions leapfrog a little bit. Try and pull away from them even more.
Oh, man. These guys are getting so much apron. They're just a little bit below that white line. What we're talking about here, guys, that white line right there. There's a banking difference, almost completely flat on the inside like a highway. Lots of degrees of banking just above that. So when you're coming down so low onto that, underneath that line, it's going to loosen up your car, and you're going to see a lot of shaking and baking, little happy dog tail wagging, sliding back up on that track.
Absolutely. We're about 15 laps from them pitting once again. We're going to keep an eye on that. But for now, I want to give a shout out to Steven Larkamp. He was 2.5 seconds back behind the battle for third, fourth, and fifth running together. Steven can now see them very close. He's about a second back, not even, about half a second really on this battle. So good on him to make up that time and try to catch these guys, because again, he cannot win it in second if Tim continues to run up front, battle Eric, and lead some laps. He needs Tim to not get the most laps led. He needs to lead a lap himself.
I was just noticing the Kite and Barmer's Buck there had a little bit of some ping issues. Started flashing in and out, so we'll keep an eye on his internet connection. Hopefully he'll stay okay.
Yeah, absolutely. Kite, unfortunately, has been having those connection issues all throughout this series. It's a shame because he is a very, very talented driver and can't compete for wins, but that internet more than likely ends up just taking him out of the race. But either way, Steven Larkamp needing to be careful behind Chiton here. He's trying to make up that position, and want to mention, give you guys a little bit of a race summary so far. We are approaching halfway in just a couple of laps here. Our leader is Eric Davis. He has led 12 laps here tonight. We've completed 46 laps so far out of the scheduled 100 laps to go, and currently sitting at 10 lead changes on the night. We've had 0 cautions, which of course means we've had 0 laps under caution. Like, we love to see that here. Love to see that in this series and watch these guys battle throughout this green flag run.
Yeah, it's always good to let the drivers and the cars do the work instead of letting the flags cause the race to end early or misalign anybody. It's always good to if you've got a good patient foot, you can run your car from beginning to middle to end on a run and manage it and keep your speed. That's always a really solid thing to do. As we're watching Tim Silliman try to catch up to Eric Davis. He is doing his best. He's fallen back a little bit, but he is trying to run clean, smooth lines and close that gap back up to from the 39 up to the 65. Our race leader, Eric Davis.
Yeah, and while he's trying to catch up to Eric there, we've got Steven Larkamp making a move on Kyten Bommersbach here for the 5th position. Finally going to make that pass, see if Kyten will give it to him. Not quite able to do it. Kyten going to battle back on the bottom here, trying to take that spot away again, as Steven Larkamp still got a lot of work ahead of him here, as coming to the line this time, Eric Davis will be marking 1 lap past halfway here. So really got to be careful here. Steven Larkamp has got a lot of time to make up in front of him. Currently 4 seconds behind our leader. Also, wanted to mention, while we're watching this battle for 5th here, is Kyten Bommersbach having a little bit of connection issues. During that last set of green flag pit stops, we did have 1 penalty, and that was John Ailes. I believe he sped on pit lane. He finds himself 2 laps down. Jeff Newport 1 lap down, but that is because he just brought it in for his 2nd pit stop of the race on lap 48 a few laps ago. So Jeff Newport trying to cut it evenly into a little bit of a 3-stop race here, as everyone else is going to have to do. But even though he's cutting it up equal, he's just not making up any time on those fresh tires that I think he's trying to take advantage of.
And not a lot he's able to do. He's just kind of right along right now, trying to see what happens. We're at the midpoint of the run. Cars are going to get a little looser here. They're going to be a little more touchy, harder to control. Some drivers like that. Some drivers don't. I know from personal experience, I do not like that looseness at the end of a run. I'd rather have that mid-run. So drivers are going to start getting that into their head, and the track itself is heating up as they do their circles here. So lots of opportunities and variables are going to play out.
Yeah, keep an eye on Steven Larkamp here, still battling Kyten. Was finally able to clear him for just a few car lengths, though, although it just doesn't seem like he can really pull away right now. The next car in front of him he's going to have to set his sights on is the 90 of Johnny Eckert. And of course, Johnny Eckert losing tons of time to Danny Roberts. Look at Danny Roberts. He is running some beautiful laps right now. Is only half a second behind Tim Silliman in 2nd.
And this whole group up here is getting a little tighter and closer together. Yeah, Danny Roberts, the little red rocket, he is the one who's coming on strong, playing down some of the best average lap times right now and closing that gap. He is the fastest of those top 3 consistently at this point, and he's able to trim off close to about half a tenth or so per lap.
Yeah, worth reminding our viewers, Danny Roberts has gotten himself a win this season. One and only win came at Pocono Raceway. Was a hell of a race, I believe, with Steven Larkamp coming to the finish there. A little bit of it was really those two for most of the race, honestly. That race went pretty green towards the end, and nobody could quite catch up to him. It was a 2-horse race, and Danny Roberts able to pull it out at the end there. So he is a 1-race winner here in this series. We'll see if he can make a 2nd one here tonight. But Eric Davis putting down some killer laps here. And if this continues to go green, as it looks like it is, these times are just going to fall into his lap. And Tim Silliman was the first of the lead lap drivers to pit last time. He went 29 laps this time, if he continues to run that type of fuel mileage.
Yeah, he did come in just who felt like a little bit early. He might be able to squeeze it. It might run out another lap or two on this run. Maybe all three come in together. We don't know. Eric Davis last time ran a couple extra laps, and he still has that about a 3/4 of a second lead on Tim Sullivan. And Danny Roberts closing it up really fast here all of a sudden.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, here comes Sullivan and Roberts behind him. Oh, gotta get slow here. Oh, look at Danny. Look at Danny pull up on Tim on this.
Get him mowed down. Get him mowed down.
Yeah, gotta be careful here. That's the last thing you want to do is get in the back of someone, especially someone running for points. Oh, that is
like Kaiten Bommerbach.
Yeah. Yeah, he came in way too hot there. Might have. Nah, there's just. I don't think he got down.
I think
to
he
pit
made
road
it.
Speed.
What
He
is
was
pit road
50.
speed? 50?
Pit road speed is 50. If it was 60, he would have made it. But I don't
Oh yeah.
we'll have to see if they actually flag him here. Johnny Eckert bringing it into the pit lane. Everyone now having to make their pit stops here. We'll see who is our leader this time. Eric Davis, of course, is bringing it in. Everyone kind of pulling it into the pit lane within these 2 laps. Steven Larkamp also running around the track. He's just brought it in. Everyone having to come pit. They're all pitting around the same time this time. It seems within a lap of each other. Our current leader, though, the 12 of Johnny Martin, he has yet to bring it in. So he is going to have to pit in the next few laps.
It looks like Bommerbach, he is still out there running. He did not pull it back in this time around, so he might have gotten away with it.
Yeah, we're just watching to see how this shuffles out. Maybe Johnny Martin trying to bring it in this time. He will, taking the lower lane behind Will Roberts there. So Johnny Martin bringing it in this time will give the lead over to the 65 of Eric Davis. He will be your leader once again, and back behind him, you can see him in the picture there, Tim Sullivan in second, about half a second back behind Eric. Exactly the gap it was when they brought it in.
Danny Roberts still sitting back there. He can see both of them almost smelling the exhaust fumes coming out of Tim Sullivan's ride, and he is looking to close up that gap.
Yeah, and while all of these pit stops shuffled out, worth mentioning Steven Larkamp lost that spot to Kaiten Bommerbach and lost a lot of time in the 6th position. He is about a 1.5 seconds behind 5th spot. The next spot he needs to get here as Johnny Eckert and Kaiten Bommerbach racing for 4th on the track. I don't know if it continues to go green if Steven Larkamp has a chance. I mean, he needs to get up there and battle for the win to win this championship. He can't just get 3rd or 4th. He needs to get up there and battle for the victory to even have a shot at this championship.
Right now, looking just in front of our leader of Eric Davis in that 65. He is chasing down the number 25 of Phil Clark. Phil Clark starting to feel the heat from the leader, about to put him a lap down.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. They just put down Johnny Martin. Johnny Martin, the only car 1 lap down right now.
Battle for the lead.
Absolutely. Tim Sullivan finally getting caught up with Eric Davis. Eric going to push up into the high side of the track. Just going to be able to catch it across the line. Eric Davis just led his 29th lap. That ties Tim Sullivan for 29 laps led. So Sullivan, if he wants to get that extra point for leading the most laps here tonight, I want to double check that. Most laps led here gets you an additional 3 points. So that's 3 points he's looking to battle for here, along with the win, of course.
Right now, Phil Clark is becoming the pick that they're trying to figure out who can use the draft. Oh, and Clark gets a little on the apron, and he does it again. Watch out, guys. They got around him safely.
Yeah, that's not what he wanted to do. And honestly, I have to wonder, what is Phil Clark thinking? He was battling for a top 10 spot, well, a top 5 spot, really. But for some reason, Phil Clark is going so far under the speed. I almost want to think he's saving gas, but he's going to have to go like 10 laps. I don't think he can do it. That would just be insane to think he could go that far. But either way, keeping an eye on this battle for the lead. Eric Davis up top. Tim Sullivan to the bottom there. Going to have to get the drive off.
He's going to close it. There he goes. Oh, and diving under, but Sullivan gets the point for the lap lead.
Yeah, absolutely. You got to be careful here, though. The last thing you want is to get
Oh,
into
son
something.
of a gun, that is close.
Ooh, they're cutting it close here.
I'm wearing the brown race suit.
Yeah, it seems these guys are cutting it close here up at the front. Again, they are by themselves, but only for the time being. If you look back there, you'll see a bright red car coming into the picture. That is the 41 of Danny Roberts. Danny Roberts trying to compete for his second win of the season. Can he catch these guys? These guys will continue to battle. They'll continue to slow each other down, and Danny Roberts will be able to catch up if this continues to go on like it is right
Oh,
now,
yeah, look at
side
him
by
close
side,
right there. Look at that. He picked up a 10
crossing the
just
line.
on that corner.
30 laps to go this time. Continuing to battle it out up front. Can Eric Davis get himself another win? Tim Silliman, can he clinch the championship here tonight and win the final race of the season? Oh, looks like Eric Davis was just cut off. That dirty air behind Tim Silliman. Danny Roberts still gaining time right now. Slowly starting to catch these guys.
Da, 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 da. 41 is coming, and he is coming fast right now. He is in that draft. He's coming down the back stretch, and he's looking at the back of Silliman's ride. He's going to be there this next stretch.
Yeah, you look at the schedule this season, and Tim Silliman has gotten himself 3 wins so far. The 3 tracks he's won at is Iowa, the Milwaukee Mile, and Indianapolis. He loves those oval racetracks, and this is exactly his type of track here. And maybe that is what's going to be his saving grace, because again, he lost the points lead last week at Laguna Seca. Steven Larkamp able to take that win there. But these oval racetracks, this is where Tim shines, and it looks like he's trying to do it again here tonight.
And we have got all 3 cars nose to tail at this point. There is just a matter of trying to get positioning. Roberts, he wants to get up into that lead. He's watching these two, though, slicing and dicing. Davis and Silliman still going back and forth on each other. One of these guys is going to take a nose off of the other before this race is done.
While we keep an eye on this battle, I do want to mention out back after these 3 cars in the top 3 positions, we've got another 3-car battle back behind them for 4th, 5th, and 6th. Steven Larkamp has finally started to catch the 90 of Johnny Eckert and the 3 of Kaiden Bommersbach. They'll compete on the track. Back behind them, we've got a little bit of a 2-car battle. Unfortunately, it looks like Jeff Newport has fallen and lost some time to Will Roberts. That's 7th and 8th. And the last car on the lead lap right now is Derek Pemberton. He's currently riding down there on the backstretch as Tim Silliman in the lead is coming out of turn 2.
And it looks like Danny Roberts is trying to put the move on Silliman. He is looking on the inside, going in turns 3 and 4. He is solidly there, but he's not going to be able to close the deal, so he's going to fall back in line, sniff the draft, try to do it again.
Yeah, that's Eric Davis, the 65 of Eric Davis currently in the 2nd position. Silliman, of course, leading right now. Danny Roberts trying to take that spot away from the 65, has finally caught him, but can he actually make the pass and make the pass in time to get back up to Tim Silliman, all while remembering these guys will have to pit with about 10 laps to go.
It's about this point in the last run where Roberts proved that he had the fastest car when he was chasing down both Silliman and Davis. So he is excited to be in this position on the back of these guys. He knows he's got the faster ride. He knows he's able to control that car a little better. These guys have been pushing hard. He is just enjoying. Davis just dove in. I'm sorry, wrong car. Looking at somebody else there.
Tim Silliman was the guy that dove into the pits here. He will be able to make it to the end from here. He's just deciding to split the 2nd and 3rd run here tonight evenly, as he will have 22 laps to go. Once he's done with this pit stop, we'll see if that brings in everyone else on the track. For now, him and Phil Clark are the only guys that decided to pit around this time. Again, keeping an eye, Eric Davis, Danny Roberts, they're going to be 1st and 2nd on the track. 3rd now is 4 seconds behind them.
And as Silliman was coming into the pits, Jeff Newport, who is 3 laps down, was on his way out of the pits, and it looks like there's more cars diving in. Pemberton is on pit lane tree, and he's in the grass. Watch it, saved it. Good job. Now whoa down. He's good.
Yeah, and I tell you who that really would have hurt. That would have hurt Tim Silliman. Tim Silliman pitting early has put himself a lap down. The last thing he wants is for a caution to come out and be called a lap down. That hands the championship win, right over to Steven Larkamp, if that were to happen.
Yeah, that would be very difficult to overcome. Although they would have, do they not have the lucky dog on yellows here? Because he would be the first car one lap down, I believe. Here comes Roberts. Roberts on the inside. He is passing for the lead over. I can't talk. I'm losing it. Danny Roberts to the lead.
Yeah, Danny Roberts easily able to make that pass there on the bottom as Eric Davis pulling it into the pits with 19 laps to go, 18 this time by. We'll see if anyone decides to follow him through. It looks like he is the only taker this time.
Davis come in and hot, locking up the brakes, but it looks like he did make a pit lane speed, so he's okay.
Yes, he was putting the brakes on. He was 47 miles per hour at the line. Easily made it down, and will it cost him time, though? Will slamming on the brakes. Oh, and he overshot his pit box. The last thing he needed to do on pit lane. Wonder, we'll have to see how long his pit stop is. Keep an eye on that. Looks like it was about 7 seconds. Interesting, but we don't know how much time that'll cost him. As a reminder, Tim Silliman, when he came in, his pit stop was a second slower, but he didn't overshoot his pit box.
And Davis back out on the track.
Looks like Danny Roberts, Johnny Eckert, Steven Larkamp, Will Roberts, all of them have yet to make their last pit stop here. We do have cars 1 lap, 2 laps down. Not worth spotting them right now because the cars on the lead lap still have to pit. Those guys they should gain that lap back if a caution were to come out. Want to highlight, we do have a battle for position here. Jeff Newport battling with Phil Clark. They're on the same lap, both 2 laps down. Newport going to take that spot away. Oh, it looks like Steven Larkamp. Steven Larkamp bringing it down pit lane. That leaves 3 drivers. 3 drivers yet to pit. Danny not going to bring it in this time. Neither is Johnny Eckert. And looks like Will Roberts. Will Roberts going to bring it into the pits. So that leaves 2 cars out.
Yeah, we're still watching. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, keep a close eye on Danny Roberts here. 14 laps to go. A reminder, he is putting down laps of 25 seconds. 25.164 was his last lap. Looking on someone that has made his pit stop, looking at Eric Davis. Eric Davis finally getting up to speed across the line. This time, seeing how fast he can make this lap. Looks like it was about 25-1 running evenly with our leader with new tires. Gotta wonder, can Danny stay out any longer? He's gonna have to come in at least 3 more laps on those tires. He cannot make it on fuel. No one can make it on fuel. We all know this. Johnny Eckert bringing it in. Oh, he was speeding. That has to be a speeding penalty.
Oh, here comes our leader, Roberts, on the pit lane.
He was sliding at that entrance. Yeah, you're right, Danny Roberts gonna bring it in. Oh, he's on the grass.
Ew, no, watch out. Dude, no, slow it down.
Oh, he's down. He's down. Almost hit.
Almost water barreled it.
Woo. That was almost a replay of Kyle Busch trying to get on pit lane here at Homestead. No. Just got it down in there. That was so close. Danny Roberts not running for a championship here tonight, but he could easily be up there to compete for the win.
Oh, he overshoots his pit box.
Oh, he does the same thing Eric Davis did. Overshooting that pit box. As he has decided to pit, our new leader is the 12 of Johnny Martin.
Roberts almost spun it coming out of his pit box. Again, we talked about in the beginning of the broadcast. Get on that gas a little too hard in pit lane. You are going to spin those tires, and it is difficult to control.
Yeah, look at the lead here. Look at the lead. This will be the lead coming out of turn 2. Look at Eric Davis shoot by Danny Roberts. Tim Silliman lost a little bit of time there. He will not be the leader once Johnny Martin makes his pit stop. That'll go to the 65 of Eric Davis. You now see the gap. 10 laps to go. You see the gap behind Eric Davis, leading about 6/10 of a second, almost to a second, as Danny is a little bit slower than him as he was just exiting the pits here. Again, Johnny Martin bringing it in, our leader. That will give the lead over to Eric Davis. Can Eric Davis close this out coming across the line? 9 laps to go.
Right now, Danny Roberts has got to be appreciating where he's at. Although he gave up a ton of time, he is still only about 3/4 of a second back from our current leader, Eric Davis. He should be able to stay inside that draft if he's lucky, get those tires heated up and close that hole up. Tim Silliman, though, just behind Roberts. Silliman well within draft range. He's going to be able to come up close onto the back of Roberts as well. Hopefully make this a 3-car battle for the win.
This is extremely important, and I'm going to tell you why. Listen to me closely. Tim Silliman is currently in the 3rd position. Stephen Larkamp is in 5th. If it were to finish now, Stephen Larkamp would be your leader. Can Tim catch up to Danny Roberts? He's doing it right now. Tim needs to make up this spot right here. This is for the championship. 7 laps to go. He needs to get as many positions as possible.
Yeah, he is begging for some space between he and Larkamp. Larkamp, though, he is still running a good quality race. He is not going to give up the spot easily. As we've seen in the past, Larkamp is a quality driver doing what he can do to keep his points and get himself a championship.
Yeah, worth mentioning that leading a single lap of the race, that gets you 1 point. That's 1 point Tim Silliman has over Stephen Larkamp. Larkamp has not led a lap tonight. Tim Silliman has led 38 laps. That's not going to be enough. With Eric Davis leading, that's not going to be enough to net 3 more points for leading the most laps here tonight. He needs this spot. Tim Silliman needs this spot right now. Can he do it to close out this championship?
He is on the rear end of Danny Roberts. Danny Roberts on the high side, Silliman on the low side, coming out of turns 1 and 2, coming down the backstretch. They are side by side going into the corner. Let's see if he can drive it in deep enough to get to stick, or is Roberts going to be able to pull? No, looks like Silliman is going to be able to compete that pass.
Yeah, Silliman giving you guys 4 laps to go. Eric Davis is a 1.5 seconds ahead of this. These guys battling for second. They will not be able to reel Eric Davis in. Keep an eye on that. Stephen Larkamp in 5th right now. If Tim Silliman finishes 2nd, that will get him 40 points here tonight. 40 points plus 1 for leading the lap. That's 41 points total. Reminder, he came in 16 points behind Stephen Larkamp. Stephen Larkamp currently in 5th right now. He'll net himself 30 points. That is a difference of 11 points. 4 points right now is your live point difference between Tim Silliman and Stephen Larkamp. Stephen would get the championship. This is so close. We need him to get up there for the lead, but I just don't see it happening.
I am watching Larkamp. He is about 1 second off the back end of Kyten Bommersbach. That's going to be too far back to be able to take advantage and get himself a draft to catch the back end of the 4th place car, which means that chances are good he's just going to be able to ride right where he's at. He's got no threat behind him. So he has got 1 lap to go. If he can just hold on to this, he might be able to seal the deal while finishing up 5th.
Now, again, this is all unofficial. They're going to have to review this race and make sure there were no blocks, there were no illegal pit stops, nothing like that. Nothing like that. Eric Davis, last lap, white flag. Can he get himself his 2nd win of the season here? It looks like it's going to happen. And it looks like Tim Silliman not going to be able to get there. If it stays like it is, if Stephen Larkamp finishes 5th, the championship is his.
Boom.
Eric Davis is your winner here at Homestead Miami Speedway. Stephen Larkamp is going to be your 2017 Rig Share World Series champion of the season. Whoo, what a race.
What an ending. Talk about some drama unfolding those last few laps.
He needed that spot. Tim Silliman needed that spot. And again, all of this is unofficial. 4 points, I believe, if my math is correct. Can I do math? Let's see. Because 4 points should be your difference between Stephen Larkamp winning the championship and Tim Silliman finishing 2nd. We're going to have to verify that with the race admins. But for now, that's what it looks like. Either way, a big shout out. Eric Davis, able to bring it home in 1st. What a race for him.
That was pretty awesome. Watching, trying to get some cookies going on. There he goes. Eckert looks like he's having some fun out there.
I think everyone everyone was ready to
It's
see the end of
done.
the season. They have put their heart and souls into this race, put their heart and souls into this season. Johnny Eckert should easily get third in points, top three, a podium finish in the points this season. Very nicely done for Johnny Eckert. I guess maybe celebrating for Eric Davis here. All right, we are going to send you guys to a commercial. When we come back, we're going to have our championship winner and the winner of this race to interview. You guys stay tuned.
Welcome back to Miami. Just finished up watching the Grand Prix of Miami here with the Formula World Series ISDC. When we went away to commercial break, there we were watching Eckert do his just some cookies. Johnny Eckert did seal up Rookie of the Year right there, so congratulations to him and his celebrations. Also, again, congratulations to all of our finishers here today. Eric Davis for the commanding performance. Tim Stillman, Danny Roberts for putting on an awesome show. And for Larkamp finish, it looks like mathematically, hopefully we had this right. Unofficially, Larkamp has sealed up the championship.
Yes, and we are looking at points. We'll get to that in just a moment. But for now, we're going to interview our third place finisher of tonight. As we do every race in this series, we're going to get the top three done. First of all, we have third place finisher, the 41 of Danny Roberts. Hey, Danny, you got us?
Yep, I got you.
Fantastic, man. Talk about that race. It seemed for the most part, you were really battling everyone. You shocked quite a few people after practicing 12th. You were able to qualify in second, and it just seemed like you were just driving your heart out to get up there and win that race.
Yeah, my computer died. I don't know what happened. I couldn't get in at all. I didn't get much practice. I didn't get any practice, really. So I don't even know where that qualifying lap. I just kept the pedal to the metal and took what I thought would be the best line. I knew it was loose because I had tried it earlier in the week. But yeah, I was very fortunate on the qualifying.
Yeah, absolutely. And it seemed coming down to the end there, you weren't quite able to catch up to Eric Davis and, of course, Tim Silliman stealing that spot from you. What was going through your head as you were battling Tim? Were you thinking at all about the championship race, or were you just focusing on yourself and finishing in second?
Well, I definitely wasn't going to mess with Tim. He did me a big favor a few races ago. So I was, no matter what, I was either going to sit behind him or get out of his way. He passed me clean. I didn't have to do anything. I mean, he beat me fair and square anyway. So, and I just don't know, like coming into the pits, I seemed to be slow in and out every time. And I knew that on that last one, I mean, no matter if I had the lead, I was going to lose it. So I chose not to change tires on the last stop. And of course, I spun like crazy the whole time.
Man.
So,
yeah, we knew even before you did the last pit, you were still the fastest car on the track after the other drivers had pitted. We were trying to hope that maybe you had just enough fuel in there to pull it off, but man, that hurt right there at the end. You got that pass, ended up third, but an amazing race. At the end of each run, you were the fastest car on the track. So congratulations, great podium finish for you. Who do you have for some shout outs?
Well, first off, congrats to Eric for winning the race, and congrats to Steven for winning the championship. The biggest shout out, though, is all those guys, Steven, Kyton, Will, who runs the whole program, you guys, everybody that, donates their time to make this so cool for the rest of us. Really appreciate it. Looking forward to next season.
Fantastic. Well, we thank you so much for jumping in the booth with us here tonight. Again, congratulations. You have one win under your belt for this season. And of course, looking at the points here, you ended up finishing top 5 in points. So congratulations to you on that. and we wish you best for your next season of racing.
Thanks, guys. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. Again, that was Danny Roberts in the 41, finishing third in this race, and we're going to jump right to Tim Silliman now, because Tim Silliman finished second in the race. Not only finishing second in the race, but unfortunately, just the way this race went along, finishing second in the championship. We're going to pull him in and see what he has to say. Hey, Tim, you got us?
I got you.
Fantastic. I want to focus specifically on this race right now. It seemed right out of the gate, you were someone that everybody was going to have to battle for this win here tonight. Practice first, qualified third, and of course, finished second. What was going through your mind as you started this race here tonight?
I pretty much had to lead every lap I could and win the race. And I don't know if I had overall laps led, but I was trying to at least get that first and then finish the race in first, but didn't quite work out that way.
Yeah, it seemed Danny Roberts was on you for a little bit during the race, and then of course you had to deal with Eric Davis. Eric Davis coming out a little bit from nowhere, coming up there. And do you think that the green flag pit stops hurt you? Were you kind of hoping for a caution at any point during that race?
Honestly, seeing where Steven was, I was hoping it was going to go green the whole way. Probably what cost me like a second or two was sliding through my pit stop barely, and then I had to back up. But I think what killed it was I didn't know how much fuel I was going to have, because it seemed about 30 laps. In the middle run, I burned and did like about 20. So I don't know where the extra fuel burn was, but I guess I was racing too hard in that middle portion, and then I let him get too far away from me there at the end because I wasn't exactly sure what I needed at the very end.
I hear you, and I know that it's a little disappointing, but you were able to steal that second place position from Danny Roberts at the end. Did you know where you sat in points? Did you know that second place wasn't going to be enough, or were you kind of just holding on to a little bit of everything there at the end?
I wasn't exactly sure. I didn't know how many laps I had led in comparison to Eric and the other guys, so I just figured try to get as many positions as I can. And if Steven finished sixth, then I probably would have had it. I don't know what the points cut were there, but I just tried to do what I could.
I got you. Well, I mean, it's not for a lack of passion. I'll give you that. I mean, you had really this season was an incredible season for you. You were able to get in the end 3 wins, 1 pole, and 12 top tens out of 13 races. That is impressive. Very well done. 8 top 5s out of 13 races. Extremely impressive. I know you didn't get the championship at the end there, but still something to hang your hat on there. And based on that, is there anyone you want to thank or give a shout out to?
I want to thank my buddies at Rigshare for letting me use their logo and trying to advertise for them. Thank my parents for watching generally every week, I believe, and everybody else that is watching that's rooting for me. I appreciate it. I know sometimes I can get a little dramatic about not finishing well or whatever, but I gave it 100%.
I hear you. Well, still a great season, something to be proud of, taking it, and we wish you the best for your future seasons ahead of you. And still, congratulations on your second place in points and your second place here tonight.
Thank you.
Of course. And again, want to congratulate the 39 of Tim Silliman. Very impressive season. Again, 3 wins on the season. Not what he wanted, not how he wanted to end, but still something of a success for the 2017 Rigs Air World Series season in his books. And of course, Eric Davis would be next on our interviewee list, but it looks like Eric Davis once again. We're not going to be able to talk to him. I don't believe we got to talk to him after his first win that came at Road America. So unfortunately, won't be able to hear from him, but I want to give him a shout out. Impressively done. Eric Davis getting the win here tonight. He led 46 laps. Tim Silliman was correct. He did not lead the most laps. Eric Davis led 8 more laps than him, and that even if Tim had gotten the most laps led, it still would not have won him the championship. And the reason for that is because Steven Larkamp, finishing in 5th, has won the championship officially by 5 points over Tim Silliman. And we're going to jump right to talking to him. Steven Larkamp, you there?
I am here.
All right. I don't know if that's your excited voice or not, but I tell you what, tonight it seemed like it had to have been stressful on your part, practicing in 2nd, only qualifying in 7th. You had your work cut out for you.
You are not kidding. I legitimately thought he had it when he passed Danny, but I guess the point situation was good enough for me to come home 5th and take it. But I got to give my hats off to Tim. He gave me a run for my money all season long, and he did a great job all season. But I guess doing the best he could tonight. I mean, I thought he was going to win this one tonight, but it's actually kind of hard to believe. I didn't think I was going to have it tonight, especially qualifying 7th. My qualifying really sucked. And then after I nearly got taken out on the first lap by Jeff having gearbox problems apparently, and it's truly unbelievable. I didn't think this was actually going to happen tonight. I thought Tim had me, to be perfectly honest.
Well, it seemed before that the last green flag pit stops, it shuffled a little bit around. Tim overshot his pit box. Danny overshot his pit box. A couple of guys having issues. It just seemed like you were able to hang in there. You didn't have any big troubles, and I believe that's really where you won it. I know Donovan here was keeping a close eye on you throughout the night. It was very impressive to see you able to hang in there. We were a little worried, though. You clipped the apron a few times there and caught us having to catch our breath a little bit.
Yeah, that definitely scared me too. I was trying to get by Kite, and the problem, I know he was having connection issues, and he was also trying to help his teammate any way he could. He was trying to help Tim win the championship there. I don't really ding him for that. So it was a bit sketchy at times, and I'm just amazed I was actually able to hold it in there. But I guess missing the pit box, I guess that explains why Tim was as close to me as he was at the end of that run, because he was like 5 seconds up the road when we were getting ready for that final green flag run. That would remain kind of consistent all throughout the race. And I guess tiny mistakes, and I just try to minimize them. But obviously, I clipped the apron there, and I think it's safe to say I've had some rough moments this season, but I guess it all worked out in the end.
Yeah, you could say that. You could definitely say that. Donna, is there anything you wanted to ask our championship winner here?
I think you hit it. I was mostly concerned about that apron clipping, not just from Larkamp here, but a couple other guys as well. But man, Steven, you nailed that thing like twice in 3 and 4, and that was scary. But man, you wheeled it in and you kept control of that car, which was fantastic. One of the best maneuvers we saw all day, from a mistake to a save. That was fantastic. Amazing job,
man. Thanks.
Yeah, and to give everyone a couple of stats here, at the end of your season, you ended up competing in 12 races of the 13. You did receive 1 provisional. You had 2 wins at the end of the season, 4 poles, and I believe this is really where you kind of brought it out ahead of Tim, is the top 5s. You ended up having 2 more top 5s than Tim Silliman did, and therefore won by 5 points. Incredibly done on the season for you. An impressive season overall. It was really it was fun to watch you guys compete, and I was a little bit worried for you. Road America, that seemed like it might put you in a little bit of a spiral, but man, you came back, you won at Laguna Seca, you took a points lead right there at the end, and you were able to hang on. So again, congratulations on that top 5 finish here tonight. Is there anyone you want to thank or give a shout out to?
Well, first of all, everyone at Gap SRT. I could see that my buddy Marcus Jesdal, I see him there in the chat, still awake apparently, all the way in Norway. And big shout out to him as kind of a cheerleader of mine all throughout the season. Cody Wenzen, unfortunately, work commitments prevented him from racing much of the season. And possible driver that you might see next season, Brittany Grimm. You might see her race in ISDC next season for Gap. And she was she's kind of cheered me on these last few races as well. And Brittany, this one, I got this one for you. Now come out here and race. And of course, everyone else on the team, Nick Rasmussen, Evan Lathoris, Floris Baishar, everyone there. This is just great. It's truly amazing. And of course, everyone at ISDC. I mean, we've had some rough patches this season, but overall, I think it's safe to say going into next year, we have a lot of momentum going for us, and it's going to be a great one next season. And we made the most out of this one. Next season, I think is going to be even better with everyone here. Will Roberts for putting this all together, Rig Share, Tim Silliman, Chitin Bommersbach, and Jeff Newport, our in-race admin. Yeah, it's these guys. We may have had some troubles throughout the season, but we don't quit. We do not quit. This season ended on a high note, and next season is going to be even better.
All right. Well, thank you again for joining us, and again, congratulations on your top 5 here tonight and your 2017 championship here for the Rigshare World Series.
Thanks.
Absolutely. Again, that is the 62 of Stephen Larkamp, bringing it home tonight, able to keep that points lead coming out of Laguna Seca. It's going to be your 2017 Rigshare World Series champion. And again, congratulations to Eric Davis in the 65 for winning here tonight at Homestead. With all the excitement, we never got to give you guys a full rundown of the results. So I'm going to do that real quick as we present the results to you. The 65 Eric Davis is going to take your win here tonight. The 39 of Tim Silliman in second. In third is the 41 of Danny Roberts. In fifth is the 3 of Chitin Bommersbach. Sorry, in fourth is the 3 of Chitin Bommersbach. The 62 of Stephen Larkamp in fifth. The 31 of Will Roberts in sixth. Able to pick up some spots. Nicely done. The 90 of Johnny Eckert in seventh. In eighth is the 81 of Derek Pemberton. In ninth is the 4 of Jeff Newport. In 10th is the 12 of Johnny Martin. The 25 of Phil Clark in 11th. And your last car to make an attempt on this race in 12th is going to be the 14 of John Ailes. That are your results for the Homestead Miami Speedway Week 13 race here for the Rigshare World Series. And I want to give a shout out again to Will Roberts and Jeff Newport, our admins for the series. Thank you so much for bringing OCTV on board. And I really want to give a shout out to my partner here in the booth. Donovan Johns has been a great partner to finish out this series with. And a big shout out to our producer on the end. You guys don't hear much from. That, of course, is Tony Knuckles. And for myself, Katie Reed, we are OCTV, and we are out.